Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online valuation services for mediation and litigation based in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we'll be discussing business valuations when the future is unknown and the past is not reliable with my special guests, Josh Shilts and Stephanie Swetland. Josh's practice focuses on complex financial matters and disputes. He frequently lectures on forensic accounting matters and has been involved in hundreds of investigations involving personal and business disputes. He also has provided expert testimony in commercial and family matters around valuation, economic damages, and fraud. He's been qualified as an expert and testified in state and federal courts. Stephanie Swetland is also a licensed enrolled agent and is a QuickBooks Pro advisor for both online and desktop. She is continuing her education in accounting and plans to obtain her CPA license within the next couple years. They are both forensic valuation experts and offer tax advice in the state of Florida. How even has your expert witness work changed? Because I talk to a lot of attorneys around the country and then all of the work that I do, and it's really different now. But what are you guys seeing?
You know, expert, it's very different being deposed or on the stand in the safety of my office, right? Like, that's very different. I don't like it as much. Obviously, you know, I have a loud voice that can help in certain, like I spent many years trying to build rapport, understanding my voice inflections and all of that. Now I'm having to rethink that on Zoom.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, when you're on Zoom, obviously you still want to look professional. I've seen other experts and they got their whole binder and they're kind of going through that. And the one thing that I've noticed in Zoom is I can read the judge's face much easier. And for me, that's who I'm talking to when I'm on the stand. I'm talking to the judge or the jury. So I'm focused I have a better ability to focus more on what's the judge. Are they really in tune? Am I combing them over with information? What can I do? I've started to talk to attorneys about me being in charge of the exhibits because I'm able to then put the exhibits up. And that's one thing that's changed. And I'll be honest, I'm actually excited about it, is more demonstrative exhibits. You know, Stephanie will attest to it. I'm a geek when it comes to Excel and charts and graphs because I love to not only tell a story, but then support a story with real data and go through that.
He likes to turn the data into a picture because, you know, his famous line is, you're talking to a 5-year-old. Well, when you talk to a 5-year-old, the best way they understand is pictures.
Right.
People don't understand what we do. That's why we do it, and they rely on us to do it. So I think it's a really good way, and I like that about what we do, is taking the data and really turning it into a picture for them to see.
We just did an analysis of 7 pass-through entities with two main income sources and all this blah 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 blah. And there's 2 attorneys and the client, they're like, we don't get it. We created a picture. There was a pizza franchise, there was a hotel, there was a motor oil company, and we showed with pictures how the money flowed to what entities. You know, one of the entities held a private plane, the other entity held some commercial real estate. We showed how the money was divvied up there, and then how it eventually trickled down. We were able to do that on a 2-pager. Right? If I'm trying to show that with financial statements, I got an Excel file that's going all the way down to at least line 1,000.
Yeah.
So I think there's opportunity for us to improve our deliverables instead of just having, you know, a discounted cash flow or a capitalization of earnings or a listing of comparable companies. How are they comparable? Answering questions like that. So I think there's opportunity. Again, I miss being in the courtroom. I'm not going, I really missed it. I think there's a different feeling, right? Like I used to play football in high school and college, and there's something, anyone who plays a sport or was involved in, my daughters are in dance, okay? So I can hit on both genders of it. The butterflies feeling, right?
Yeah.
I still have them, but there's something about being in a courthouse with a judge in the robe there and the other attorney that we're lacking right now. I think our attorney friends too, a lot of them are some love it, and a lot of them hate it. I miss going there and feeling the emotions. It's very emotionless right now.
Well, and it goes back to like the separation of like work and house, right? A lot of people are working in the house. I totally get. But even this is like when I came out of my office, like I had the suit. I was going, like you were ready, like you were going into battle. You knew what to expect. Well, now every single court system has a different. So we just did one that there was no capability to do demonstrative exhibits or to even show the exhibit to everybody at the same plate at the same time. So everybody was pulling, okay, do you have exhibit 4? Okay, yeah. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, yes, I do. Oh, can you hear me now? Oh, you can't hear me now? And it was like we had to hyper prepare for 2,000 pages of exhibits. Where was everything? If they asked me this question, where was my data to support the answer? And so I kind of had to do a cheat sheet for me and the attorney to say, okay, well, if they go down this path, here's the supporting document. If they go down this path, here's the supporting document, because you don't know if they're going to, like half the time you think, well, they're going to catch me somewhere, and then they never do. So you're hyper prepared.
We always created binders. I grew up professionally with give me my binder.
Yep.
And I would tab it when I thinking about questions or thinking about points. And I got to thank my staff, because it was probably 2-3 years ago that they basically forced me into electronic binders, right? And they go, Josh, we can do this for you electronically. I was set in my ways a little bit. I like the feel of it, the flipping. So we've been doing electronic binders, and that's helpful, because you're right, man. There's so many times I'll be on the stand and I get a question and I'm ready to hit back on it, right? And I don't have my binder that I can, it's really hard to show on Zoom. This is the number I'm looking at, as opposed to being able to have it up there and I can go through it. So, it's a little bit of a change. I think it's not going to go away. I've been talking to attorneys. I think that, from a client perspective, it's cheaper. It's more efficient. We got to recognize as experts, we're only one piece of potentially the entire case.
Yeah.
So we get it from that standpoint. I think it's a skill that we all need to sharpen up. Listen, you got to know how to work Zoom. If you don't know how to work Zoom right now, like, you cannot be a testifying expert. I don't know how you would, right?
Right.
So you have to change and adapt to those types of things. And you
need to get good at it, because every court, if they have a different system, right? They're not all Zoom. They're hyper secure. And even in some cases, so it's really.
I'm having my assistant ask, what is the hearing on? Is it Zoom? Do we have the ability to share demonstratives? Okay, here you have Mr. Shilts' expert report. Do we need to go over that prior so he can show you the different things into it? Because I'm not sitting down in a conference room with an attorney and walking them through, hey, this number on page 2, if they ask that question, we got to go to page 5. Because that's where so there's a lot of that.